We are learning to make in-depth predictions and justifications during reading. During your last flip session, you found out about making predictions prior to reading, and a prediction is saying what we think is going to happen before we have read something. And a justification is explaining why we think why we have made that particular prediction. So today what we're going to do is we're going to look at making predictions during reading the story, and then we're going to check if the predictions we made before reading and during reading were correct. So let's read our story, Lost. Finn found a creature in the dark and dusty shed. It was small, it was furry, it had feelers on its head. Why are you hiding in our dark and dusty shed? Are you lost, little creature? Where's your home? Finn said. I'm going to make a prediction about the text on this page, about what will the creature reply. I think that the creature won't be able to understand the boy. And the reason I think that is when I look at this illustration here, the creature has a puzzled look on his face by the way he's pointing to his mouth. So I think he doesn't understand what it is that the boy is saying, so he won't be able to reply. Eep, eep, said the creature. His eyes looked up at Finn. Don't worry, little creature. I'll help, Finn promised him. Hey, Mum, shouted Finn. There's a creature in the shed. It's small and green and furry and has feelers on its head. A creature, said Mum, in our dark and dusty shed. A small and furry creature needs its mum, his mother said. Now here, Finn is going to ask his mum a question. I predict that Finn's question to his mum will be, well, how do I find the creature's mum? And the reason I think he'll ask this question is because his mum has said that the creature needs its mum, and Finn will be worried about the creature and wanting it to have what it needs. But how can we find her? I don't know what to do. You need to make a plan, said Mum. I'll leave it up to you. So Finn thought and thought. He came up with a plan. He got some pens and paper. Can I find her? Yes, I can. I predict that Finn is going to put his posters out around in the neighbourhood because if the creature has gotten into his shed, then maybe his mum is somewhere nearby, so he's going to put the posters out nearby. And I predict that his plan will be successful, that he will find the mother because she's probably nearby for the little creature to have got lost. She can't be too far away. Finn drew lots of posters and stuck them all around. He waited with the creature. Don't worry, you'll be found. Suddenly they heard a noise. The path began to shake. The little creature squealed and he wobbled to the gate. A great big creature stood there, huge feelers on its head. It scooped up the little creature. My plan has worked, Finn said. Now that I've finished reading the story, I can reflect on my predictions and think if I was right or not. So my first prediction was something or someone in the story will be lost, and yes, that was correct because the little creature was lost. My next prediction before I read the story was it will happen in the garden shed, and yes, that was the first setting in the story. After that they moved to outside, but at the beginning they were in the shed, so that prediction was correct. My next prediction before reading was the boy finds a creature and helps him find a home. The first part of this prediction was correct. He did find a creature. He didn't help him find his home, but he did help him to find his mum. My next prediction was that the creature wouldn't understand Finn when Finn asked him what was the matter, and was he lost because he wouldn't be able to speak the same language as Finn, and that prediction was correct. My next prediction during reading was that Finn will put the posters around the neighbourhood to try and find the creature's mum. This wasn't quite correct because in the pictures we can see that he only put the posters up around his house. Today in your reading, you're going to make predictions during the reading and then check on your predictions at the end of your reading.